possibly one of the most mindful mamas is with us today. Sophie Jaffe, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome.
And for making every food a superfood. I'm so excited for your products. Let's get straight to it. What is right here?
So these are one of my mini babies, but my first babies are the Philosophy Superfoods. So I started making these superfood blends for my clients about 10 years ago. I had a cleanse business where I was making cleanses for different celebrities and just my neighbor, like anyone and everyone in LA. And then I got pregnant with my second son, and my husband was like, you need to chill out. You can't be on your feet making food for all these people all the time. You need to have a product line. And I was already making these products anyway, just in a different form. They were in mason jars on my client's counter. And I would say, make sure you add a tablespoon of this when you make your own smoothie. Or if you're making oatmeal, just add a little bit of this to it. And it was these powders. So at that point, they were $200 a pound. And because I would just go to like Air One or to Whole Foods and get all these organic superfoods and combine them. And it was more of a convenience and a service I was creating. But now that I've been doing this for so long, I get wholesale and bulk prices, and I know where to get them in the world to, you know, to make it make sense as a business owner.
Well, I think it's genius because not only are you adding superfoods to your kids' foods, but you can put a little bit in your own as well. Self-care first, right?
Totally.
You're going to be a better mom.
I'm taking care of myself, but I'm also taking care of my kids. A little bit goes a long way because these are such potent superfoods. There's no fillers in any of my products. It's organic and raw and just the most beautiful foods from all over the world.
No sugar, no stevia?
No sugar or stevia added in any of the blends so that you can decide if you want it to be savory or sweet. You can add it to soups. You can add it to, you know, baked goods without it being overpoweringly sweet.
If you haven't followed this woman on Instagram, she is like #mother goals. I love her.
Amazing.
She's there. She looks gorgeous and beautiful, and her skin's glowing. She's like breastfeeding her third child. Well, I'm making homemade fudge and superfoods. I mean, like, honestly, it's kind of impossible. How do you
It's
do
not
that?
impossible. That's my point, is it's about making it approachable. I'm not just like eating at Air One every meal and all of that's not my jam. It's much more approachable. It's that anyone can add these superfoods in a affordable way to your foods. So you can take a little bit of this berry Bliss mix, which has 10 grams of protein and is really high in vitamin C. Even 1 teaspoon, if you add that to your morning yogurt or your kids' yogurt, you will notice a difference in your immune system and your skin. It doesn't take a lot. You don't have to eat this way for, you know, all day long. You don't have to buy hundreds of dollars worth of expensive products. This is a $15 bag, and it could last 2 months if you just use a teaspoon a day.
So what inspired you to be such a healthy mama?
I'm a raw food chef. I'm a yoga instructor. And so I think it was just a byproduct of like my own passions and loves. But first and foremost, I think it's about being balanced. And I did live an imbalanced life of being really extreme, being really into raw foods in my early 20s. And that works for some people. For me, it doesn't. As a mom, as someone who doesn't want to spend a lot of money to be healthy, I think it's important to just get a little bit of amazing foods, eat really wholesome, natural foods, go to the farmer's market, see what's local, see what's organic. I go like right before the farmer's market's going to close because then everything's half price or like they'll do better deals.
That's a great hack.
It's really, you know, and you get one bag of superfoods, which has a bunch of different superfoods in it, instead of spending hundreds of dollars getting a bunch of different bags of superfoods and filling up your cabinets with things you may not even use because you forget why you even bought it. Like,
So what would you say? I know that obviously we love your work. We love you're an incredible mother and figure for everyone going more healthy. But what's something that people don't know about you? What's something that you don't really show on your Instagram or anything?
I mean, honestly, I'm like super vulnerable, and that's kind of, I have a podcast, we were talking about this before, it's called Ignited. There isn't very much that I don't share anymore. Like I would have to think really hard to think like what I don't share because that's what's healed my relationship with my husband is this intense vulnerability. And by showing all my sides on all of these different forms of social media, then there's nowhere to hide. So therefore, I show up and be myself wherever I am. If I'm having a bad day, then like Instagram knows that. The podcast knows that. If my husband and I just had a fight, like I have an attitude with him on the podcast. He's like, she's mad at me right now because of this. When we're not like pretending.
Yeah, I have girlfriends that absolutely love you. They're like, you got to watch this girl.
Oh, that's so sweet.
So you're clearly touching many lives out there by how authentic you are.
Thank you.
But it's challenging.
It takes effort. It's not. They both are hard. It's hard to be fake and pretend, like only show certain sides and aspects of yourself. That's hard to hold back. It's also hard to show up and be vulnerable and be honest all the time. And like sometimes I just want to like put a happy quote up and like pretend that that's where I'm at.
Fake it till you make it.
But that's not. But that's not who I am. Like I can't. Like my body won't let me do that.
It's probably all the superfoods. So in about 2 weeks, I'll be with her. True serum, extra vulnerable. So tell us about Ignited, the relationship you have with your husband, and making it so public.
Mm-hmm. So Ignited emerged. Ignited is our podcast, and it emerged about a year ago. He and I have been through a lot of from cheating to just despair and distrust and just so much stuff over the last 13 years. We've known each other for so long. I had a fake ID when I met him. Like we've been through lots of iterations of this relationship, and we love hosting people, having people in our home, having Shabbat dinner, having really open, honest conversations. They just fuel us. And so because we were connecting to all these great people, we're like, what if we share this in a bigger way? And this deep vulnerability has healed us and freed us from all that pain and helped us get through those hard times. What if this could help other people? So that's when we started having this podcast where it's about relationships, but it's more like relationships to things. So we have people come in and they talk about their relationships to meditation or to death. One of my best friends lost her mom at the age of nine and like found her dead, and like it's awful. But now she has this amazing perspective in life and this relationship to death in a different way than most of us do. So we allow people the platform to just be who they are and share those vulnerable aspects of who they are so that they can help other people heal.
I love that. Yeah. So how did you become so comfortable with vulnerability?
I didn't really have a choice. I mean, I've always been a very honest person and like didn't understand the point in like pretending. But I think with my husband, I didn't have a choice because that was kind of like the way that we decided was the best way to heal from the cheating. Was like, okay, well, I want to know all of the things then. Like throughout your day, I don't want to just know like the highlight reel. I don't want to just know when things were bad. Like when did you get through challenges and how did that make you feel? And at first it took getting used to. Like I would like get really hurt or jealous and then over time it became a new habit. It was like, that's just how we show up to each other. And then it trickled out from our relationship to the closest relationships in my life where I expected that from the people in my friendships, and that doesn't always work. I recently went through a friend breakup, and it's because she couldn't show up to me in that way. And I get it. That's not for everyone. But for me, I'm in such like an open place that I can't be in an intimate relationship with someone who isn't there too, who isn't able to tell the whole truth and show up even on like yucky days when they're not feeling their best and show up to the friendship in an authentic way. So I think, we're training our children in this way. Like it's a lifetime lifestyle.
What is it that is your mission you want to be really known for beyond superfoods?
Yeah, it's always beyond the food, right? It's not about the food. It's about, I think, showing people how to love themselves in all aspects and show their love in all aspects and just touch people.
You're such a beautiful woman. So thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Touching so many lives, and it's important to also, have products that state what you really live by. So,
and even though they're foods, I feel like when people open them, they're always telling me, no matter where it is in the world, they're like, I just feel the love. Like every time I take your superfoods, I feel the love. So I love that that aspect that they don't even know me and they can feel it
with really cute packaging. By the way, tell everyone where they can find this great product.
Yeah, so thephilosophy.com is where you can find, and Sophie, like my name. So thephilosophy.com is where you can get all of these superfoods and even more. We have a lot of beautiful other products on here, like moon satchels and great like ritual, great for the new year. Palo Santo for your home, sage. And then Sophie.Jaffe is my Instagram, and Philosophy Love is our Instagram for the company.
Oh, so clever. I love the names.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. We so appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
Stay tuned. We'll be back with more on Good Morning La La Land.